Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution.
And this is Chinta Strausberg, producer and host of On the Case. And I have a very special guest today. His name is Dr. Olivier Kamanzi, and he is chairman and CEO of Africa Global Chamber of Commerce. And he has many other titles. Welcome to On the Case.
Thank you, Chinta. Thank you so much, my dear sister. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Now what are your other titles?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. I work also with the state of Illinois as a member of a BEP Council or Business Enterprise Council in charge of for certification for minority, women, and the business and the people with disabilities to make sure they have access to contracting opportunity for state of Illinois. Also, I'm an entrepreneur. I own a couple of businesses. Especially, I'm trained as investment banker. Over 30 years in investment banking. I run my investment firm based here in Chicago called Global Rock Financial. We provide financial solutions in addition to the chamber. So I also do several work on the continent of Africa. Thank you so much.
Well, that's awesome. Now, do you have dual citizenship, or is there dual citizenship between America and Africa?
I'm American born in Rwanda, so obviously I'm Rwandan by birth, and then I came to US in my 30s. And then, however, I'm a US citizen, but I still, by birth, and my country is still Rwandan by birth, and our country accepts to dual citizenship, and the US does not accept dual citizenship. But when if I go to Rwanda or elsewhere, I'm still Rwandan by birth, but I'm a US citizen.
But legally, not here. They don't do that.
Yeah, the US does not accept dual citizenship, but when you are born somewhere, they accept the citizenship. You can always claim a Rwandan passport. But I travel with US passport, though.
Okay. I wanted to ask you about the hottest topic right now is that President Trump has posted on his social media calling the Obamas apes. How do you feel about that? Now, he has since taken it down, but only because the Republicans have jumped all over him and others, of course. How do you feel about that?
I strongly disapprove the way he treats the former president. Especially, we are expecting for high office people like him to behave, to show proper example, and then it's inappropriate to call names to anybody. It doesn't matter even if he's a former president. As a former president, we expect to really respect him. And what we have seen in the past, we thought was politics, calling Obama was not born in the US, therefore not qualified to be US president. I thought that was a politics, just play politics to run for office. But you can hear there is a pattern. If he continues going after him, there could be something beyond what we have seen in the past. But I will just call he should apologize to President Obama, and even have American people to not really, we're expecting him to behave in a certain way. There's something we cannot tolerate anybody. We have children, our children look up on us, they're expecting a certain behavior. We really, as a president of the United States, is inappropriate to call name to anybody, not just President Obama, former President Obama, anybody else. Especially for me, coming in the country where we have seen calling someone a name is related to genocide. So I lost all my members in Rwanda because of this kind of behavior. When you really allow to behave in a certain way, And then you have people who are watching you, following you. You should be very, very careful. I said this because maybe one day can listen what I'm saying. It's not that saying because I'm against him or anybody. Anyone should restrain the word you use, because the word we use carries so much power and can really lead to something which you unexpected, something which happened in Rwanda. Those words led to genocide. Therefore, we must be very, very careful.
Absolutely. But he has made racist statements before when he called people from Haiti and I think Africa the
Yeah,
S-hole.
you remember when he's called the African, remember, I can't even say in the public here. Calling a country, whatever the names, is inappropriate. I think he must really, really not be careless when he uses words, because people who became a victim of words, we know what does mean words means. For some of us, we lost families, we lost everybody because of this kind of behavior. He
You
should do.
lost your you lost your entire family, didn't you?
Yeah, I lost my family, I lost everybody in my family because of this kind of calling it people. People could call you in the name, and the people come kill you immediately.
Yes, absolutely. So so,
That's dangerous.
so should he apologize?
I think so. He should apologize, not calling a name to President Obama, especially. It has been happening in the past.
Mhm.
An apology does not mean you become small. It shows the kind of wisdom a man or woman has. Apology is something is normal. That's what we teach our children. When you do wrong to your neighbor, you
Yeah.
can always apologize. You
Yes.
you do wrong to your sister, your brother, you apologize. Simple thing to do. Saying sorry does not make you small.
Mhm.
It makes you rather big and bigger and stronger when you do that. You humble yourself. It's appropriate we do what we have to do, especially we as Christians. And then President Trump always claimed to be a Christian. If he,
No, no, no. He said he's not a Christian. No, no. He said he is not a Christian. And
oh,
when he was sworn in the second time, he did not put his hand on the Bible.
okay, yeah,
So,
yeah, you're right.
what do you expect? I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
Now, right. So he also is interested in Africa. Why does he want? What does he want from Africa? It's not the people.
Yeah, the Africa has become like a border. Let's say Africa has much to offer. Too much, so much to offer. Africa represents, let's say, by 2050, Africa will be the largest population in the world, around 2.5 billion population.
Wow.
Number one, the taking over from China will become the largest population. Africa is the youngest, is a youth, let's say, is the youngest population. You be looking Africa, close to 1 billion, 700 million of Africans are young people. Out of 1.3 billion,
Hmm.
700 million are youth under 35 years old. 65% of population of Africa are under 25 years old. This young population is growing, keep growing. So countries, developed nations like United States, Europe, the population is shrinking. The white people are a shrinking population. They see Africa rather is a reversal, is growing. And then Africa is rich in natural resources. When we talk about the gold, we talk about diamond, we talk about what strategic minerals like copper, cobalt, lithium. We're talking about electronics, all electronics we have we have your computers, electric cars, cell phones, the coltan, everything we have, natural minerals are coming from Africa, right? Now, not only that, electricity, right? The powers, many other resources are in Africa, found in Africa. What happens, China has been in Africa for many, many years.
Yes.
All what you remember, US is a big market for China. So what happened is China come to Africa, access to natural resources, and they go import to China, manufacture everything. All of these cell phones we have, appliances, everything we have in our household come from China to the US market. So now, with what's going on, competition between China and the US, US has left Africa a long time ago, in the 60s, left China to come to Africa. Now, they see Africa is when we are looking what's happening today, the competition, China becomes superpower. The US looks like China as becoming number one economically, taking over from the US. The US now is saying, hey, the reason why China has become powerful is because access to minerals, to natural resources in Africa. Now the battle is happening in Africa now. China, the US is saying, let's go to Africa. We need to access to those minerals.
So that's what he wants, the minerals.
Then the mineral is very important for the US.
Sure, but he doesn't have a right to those minerals, does he?
Which one?
Trump has no right to those minerals, right?
All is about the power, right? All what we are seeing today is a power. To grab the power. Who is the power? So access to the power, he has a power as a president of the United States. If he has a power, he can access to minerals. To give you an example, in the war going on in the DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda, right? What's happening back in December 4th, 2025, the Rwanda and the DRC signed a deal, a peace agreement. The peace accord was brokered by President Trump, right? So what happened was the president because what was happening, president of DRC saying, hey, instead of getting minerals from Rwanda, because Rwanda was a platform where, you remember the genocide that I told you about the Rwanda genocide happened because back in the 1994, when President Clinton was in the power, that's when the genocide happened, right? After genocide in 1997, the president of DRC, for Congo, was a Mobutu, a dictator, who was backed by U.S. government. The U.S. government was tired about him. Now they helped President Kagame of Rwanda to invade the Congo, to take him out. The president of Congo was removed from the power, right? Then U.S. can have access to minerals. It can have access to U.S. The access to DRC, the Congolese minerals. So things started not by the Trump, what I'm saying, is a continuity of what happened at the time of President Clinton. Best believe me, these things not about a Republican or Democrats. All parties have been involved in Africa. Access to resources. The point is, it's okay, you can have access to resources, but you have to pay for it. You don't just come to grab and go.
Well, that's what he does. He grabs and he goes.
That's what we want to make sure he doesn't come to Africa and grab and go. That's the fight. That's why we have our Africa Global Chamber of Commerce here, to make sure we Africans were the first beneficiary of our resources. We must protect our resources as African people. We don't allow anybody to come to grab and go.
Absolutely, but you don't have the missiles and the jets, and what he did, stealing the ships in Venezuela and the oil. He's a bully, and a bully with power. But we're going to take a break. We'll be back with more on the case right after this.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Everything we're made of contains. Everything we're made of contains light.
from the sun that feeds our world to the energy that flows within us. With LifeWave X39, we've found a way to put that light to work. With X39, we achieved something remarkable in the field of wellness and science that others could not. By utilizing LifeWave's unique patented technology, X39 uses light to elevate GHK-Cu, a copper peptide known to support overall health and wellness. Unlike traditional light therapy, X39 uses the body's own infrared light to naturally increase vitality. By gently stimulating the skin with light, our non-invasive, non-transdermal X39 patches help you conquer your active lifestyle and pave a new way to vibrant health.
We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangadef. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, Palestine, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all. Join us live on the on-air radio network called 727-731-5192. We want to talk to you.
And we're back. I'm Chinta Strausberg, producer and host of On the Case. And my very special guest is Dr. Olivier Kamanzi. He's chairman and CEO of the Africa Global Chamber of Commerce. Thank you so much for being on the case. Now, a judge, has denied Trump the right to send back thousands and thousands of Haitians and Africans. How do you feel about that?
I feel I support the judge, the case. We are glad he denied the deportation of the Haitian, the African, back to Haiti or Africa. You remember, the United States is the land of immigrants. This country was built by immigrants.
Yes.
Right? Why would you start sending back immigrants? That the one who built this country, White House was built by the immigrants, right? The African American who paid the price of slave, right?
Well, we were not African Americans.
Not by force.
Yeah,
right?
but African Americans. But African Americans were not immigrants; they were forced to come.
Forced, yeah, they're not immigrants.
They're an immigrant.
Yeah, I agree with you. You're totally correct. So, and that's what I'm saying is, what happened, the people paid the price for us to be here as immigrants. I'm an immigrant myself. I migrated here back in 2000 from Africa, from Rwanda. I enjoyed the benefit of African American, what they have done before me. I pay respect. Those who did not have a privilege like me, I enjoyed to come voluntarily. Them, they were forced to be here, right? So we came here. We worked so hard. We went to school. I did my MBA in finance. I did my PhD here. So I enjoyed the privileges, right? So right now, my son was born here. So he's a first generation of African. He's an American. All those, we work hard, right? We work hard to make this country better. Also to make sure where we came from, there is a connection. We don't forget where we came from, we connect. Our work at the Africa Global Chamber of Commerce, the Chamber of Commerce background was, how can we work with our brothers and sisters, African American, do business together, be able to go back to the 55 African nations. People, African American, can have a place called home, can enjoy what they lost by being forced to leave Africa to come here. That's why when I came, my idea came was, how can I connect with my sisters and the brothers? Be able, the privilege I had my country to send them back to school, so I can now take back home, go back home. African American, they can be able to, through business, do business together, we can do all those things. So the point I was making here, all those immigrants you see here, African, Haitian, we're hard workers. We're not beggars. We don't come here to say somehow to get a free lunch. We work hard to get things done. So that's the reason why you really target those immigrants, those Haitian or those Africans taking back home.
Well,
have you seen how Ukrainian people received here? Right? What happened? So I'm not saying
the white South Africans were received.
You see how South African white help they were received in the US? Why is that? Why
racism? Come on now, racism. You know it's racism.
Double standards they should not be. I hope President Trump is listening to me, please. All people should be treated equal. There should not be double standards. If you treat this person this way, whether it's white, treat him same way you treat the black people. We deserve respect. We deserve to be treated well like any race, right? There should not be double standards. That's what I'm saying.
That's a nice dream, but it's never going to happen. You know that.
We have to fight for it.
Because he's very biased. He's very biased towards Democrats, and especially the black ones. I mean, it's just in his, and he says that immigrants pollute the DNA of America.
You know, our history has taught us that nothing is going to come like a free lunch. We must fight for it. We have seen our founding fathers. We have seen civil rights movement in the United States. We have seen Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. fighting along my hero, Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr., many other civil rights activists, the work they have done for us to enjoy the benefit of being here.
Yes.
You know, I won't be here without them. My son won't be here without them. So it's now our time, with the work they have done, they have paved, now to come to fight. It's our time to fight. People like Trump or others will come. We not allow them to take our rights away from us. We have to overcome fear. That's why we're here this evening. I have nothing against Trump or people like him, but I'm against the policies. I'm against using some kind of languages or take away our rights. We have to fight for them. You know, that's why we are here to say no. Enough is enough. More than 20 African nations have seen their visas denied.
Yes.
They cannot travel. There is travel ban, or they impose somehow you have to pay you call a bond to get a visa to be able to come to the US. Some people arrived at the border of the United States. They told them you cannot enter the United States unless you have a bond to enter the United States. Why is that? Why African nations? If there is any problem, it can be discussed and find solutions. That's what we are calling for. There is no reason why anyone should be denied the rights to be here when you are allowed to be here. We are not illegals. People came here illegal, with illegal means, and those who did not arrive illegal means they are seek for asylum. When your case is being treated, you should not be sent home. You should wait until the court decides so. If the court decides to stay here, you stay here. Same way you mentioned this case of Haitians, some African, the court, the judge granted them to stay here. If they grant them to stay here, why will you force people to go? To begin with, if someone is here for a reason. Then many times we need to look at the root cause of immigrants. Why they leave their home? Do you think they leave their homes because they want to leave by their choice? Many times back home they had dictators who are killing them. They have to run away. Guess what? Who made those dictators? Are the United States or the superpowers, because they need the puppets to be there to use them. Those puppets are creating refugees. Those refugees are running away, and then they end up being in the US, the United States. Who is responsible? It's someone who created those dictators. We have many dictators around the world who were created by superpowers, what you call superpowers. Guess what? Who are superpowers? Are the United States? Are Europeans? Right? They go to Africa. We have seen all these young migrants crossing the Mediterranean, and then to seek better life in France or other countries in Europe. We have seen similar in the US, seeing people coming from Venezuela, coming from Mexico to enter the US. Why are leaving Africa? Why are leaving those countries to come here? It's not by choice, because the conditions, in the countries are not good, because those dictators are just working for superpowers, are puppets. They don't work for people on the ground, the people they're supposed to serve.
But Trump doesn't care. Trump doesn't care about the reasons why they're leaving. If you're brown or black, he wants you to go. And Father Michael Flager, he says that MAGA, what that stands for. He says what Trump really wants is to make America white again.
That's wrong. There is no way. I told you my story for Rwanda. You can kill people, you will not eliminate the entire race. It's impossible, right? It's a lost fight. You cannot, he will fail. If he does his intention, he will fail. He will fail. You cannot. The only one way you can survive is through love. Love your neighbor.
Now, can you imagine Trump loving anybody? He doesn't even love himself.
So, if he doesn't love himself, then he has a problem.
And the way women are treated by his administration with the ICE agents, how do you feel about that? And how do you feel about the murders of Ms. Good and Mr. Alex Pretty in Minneapolis?
I feel terrible bad.
Yes.
Terrible. Those are U.S. citizens to begin. Even if you are not a U.S. citizen, you cannot be killed, especially by those who are supposed to protect you to begin with, right? Those ICE people, those people are supposed, if they go against illegal, they have to have the court warranty, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have to come with proper means to arrest you, to show the court has decided so. That's why coming against you. They should not treat you. We have seen many U.S. citizens being thrown to jail, being mistreated. We have seen even Somalians, right, who are U.S. citizens, because
he really hates the Somalians.
The Somalian, then they have mistreated. No, this is wrong. This is wrong. This is very wrong. What happened or is still happening in Minneapolis should stop.
Well, I don't think they should be there in the first place.
They have to be.
Supposed to be protecting federal buildings. That's ridiculous. That's just an excuse to go there and create chaos and confusion. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more of Dr. Kamanzi on the case right after this.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Hi, I'm Naima Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
What's up, guys? It's Osada, the host of the Gathering of the Griots podcast, part of the Female Solution. Want you to join us every Tuesday morning from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. And guess what we do? We interview authors of the Soulful Chicago Book Fair. The books, the experiences, the lifestyles, all of it with fervor. So be there right on the Soulful Chicago Book Fair YouTube page or on the Female Solution Facebook page. We look forward to having you and all our literary essence. Peace.
We're back. I'm Chinta Strausberg, producer and host of On the Case, and my guest is the one and only Dr. Olivier Kamanzi. He's chairman and CEO of the Africa Global Chamber of Commerce. Thank you again, Dr. Kamanzi, for being on the case. What I don't understand, Dr. Kamanzi, is why Trump is so fixated on getting rid of immigrants when he is the grandson of an immigrant. His own son is the son of an immigrant. His wife is an immigrant. Her parents were immigrants. I really don't understand that hatred.
To tell you the truth, it's hard to understand when you're an immigrant yourself and you hate your own people, right? But in the end of the day, I think this is a politics, in my view. It's a politics.
Mm-hmm.
It is a group of people who want to satisfy, right? Who are fixed on saying we are white, we have to protect our race, something like that. And when I said this because when I look, when he became a president, and many people were saying he became president because of Obama, right? Because Obama is black, right? And they start to really, let's say, make sure this group of people he can become like his core, let's say, base, like a base of President Trump. And that's what I've seen at the beginning. And he has always stick with this group of people supporting him. But in the same times, I don't think he's not stupid. He knows what he's doing, in my view, right? Because many people have, there are people who voted for him, right? If these people voted for him, there could be other people who think alike, but in publicly they don't say it, right? But how it can be voted by so many people, and we continue to see some people who believe in those policies, right? How can you have a policies against immigrants, and then you see people are supporting you those policies? We've seen what's happening in Texas. We've seen what's happening at the borders, and then we have in the Senate, we say in the House, we have those members for Congress who are supporting those policies. Somehow there is a group, and somehow the people support these policies, right?
But you have to understand, to work for this president, you have to lie. You have to lie, and you have to be racist. I mean, those are the litmus tests of being hired. Because if you go against him, you're out. You're out.
That's true. And I don't believe in the politics of fear, right? I don't believe in that. Sooner or later, the truth will emerge. The love will prevail. The equity will stand against lies. I mean, truth will stand against the lies, right? So I believe in equity. I believe in love. I believe how treat where we treat one another, right? So I believe that you must stand for justice, right? So in the end of the day, the justice will prevail sooner or later. The lies will be there. Sooner or later, the lies will lose the ground, right?
What you're saying is this too shall pass.
I'm just saying this is how I was raised. I was raised by a mother, right? Single mother who taught me how to treat our neighbors, right? How you treat your colleagues. When you go to school, how do you behave? How what you have to conduct yourself? What I will call Christian values, right? So you can never, in my view, you can never trade in your values. What you believe is right, what is good against what is bad. We should stand up. We cannot trade in what you believe in when it's whether it's a politics or a business, whatever it is. In the way I conduct my business conduct business based on principles of values, right? Values means love, be fair, equity, right? Do what is right. So once you do all those things right, you prevail, you continue to exist, do business. Even though something happens to you, if you're out of business because of politics, in the end of the day, you will come back into business. If you do business, if you do right politics of love, of equity, love your neighbor, love, protect the poor, protect immigrants, right? If you don't protect immigrants, you're immigrant yourself, you get against who you are, then what do you stand for?
Yeah, absolutely nothing. Nothing,
Nothing.
absolutely nothing. And
Nothing.
last
So,
night I was with Greg Pallas. You know Greg Pallas. He is
yes.
an investigative reporter, and he had a screening of his film, which is called Vigilantes um, in America's New Vote Suppression Hitman. And he was telling us he documented everything,
Mhm.
how that in 2016 and 2020 and 2024 too,
Mhm.
Trump has organized men and some women, because one woman in Fulton, Georgia,
Mhm.
uh, challenged 40,000 black people, voters, and
Mhm.
kicked them off the roll.
Yes.
One of them was the 92-year-old cousin of Dr. King. She
Mhm.
had been voting at this one precinct polling place for
Mhm.
50 years. Her
Wow.
name had been removed.
Mhm.
So he's asking everyone to check their voter registration. And you
Mhm.
can do that by going to vote.gov, no
Mhm.
matter where you live in America, and you
Mhm.
can see if you've been uh, challenged and thrown off the voting rolls, because it's happening again.
Mhm.
He knows he cannot win because his polls are low. He has angered so many people, and he's worried. And if he cannot win, you know what he's good at doing:
Mhm.
stealing.
Wow.
And that's why they have the remap and this going on in Texas and all over. And then
Mhm.
that's also why he said he challenged the Republicans to federalize the
Mhm.
state elections. Now it's up to the state to run the elections. He wants his party to run the election. Why? Because he wants to steal.
Mhm.
He does not want to lose power. If the
Mhm.
Democrats win, he's out. I
Mhm.
mean, because and remember what he said: if they win, I'm going to be impeached.
Yeah.
That should
Remember
be a
remember
commercial
that. Mm.
for every Democrat in America.
I remember that. I heard that he was saying,
Incentive to vote.
yeah. So that's again to talk about the fear. If he doesn't fear anything, why would you fear to be impeached? If you do right things, you're not going to be impeached.
But no,
That,
he knows he's doing, and he's afraid of going to prison too. He has broken so many laws, Dr. Kamanzi. He is
yes.
pocketing money, making money while he's in office. He's not supposed to do that. Remember, he took the $4 billion plane, 4 billion plane, and he flew it to China. 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 from a foreigner,
From Qatar.
right? And then he asked an African chief if he had a plane. I mean, it's like, give me itis, give me what you have, and even in Africa, give me your minerals, give me your diamonds, whatever. We've never had a president with gimmeitis. That's what he's suffering from. Besides racism, gimmeitis.
That's what I'm saying is he must understand the institution he represents, right? Institution of a presidency is an institution everybody looks as respected, everyone respect, look up on, and therefore, if that person does not represent those values, that institution also will suffer. And the credibility of the United States outside the US globally will suffer. Right? We need to be careful. What I can just tell you about what we were talking about before the break about the minerals in Africa. That's what's going on right now. Is we African must stand up, right? It doesn't matter who you are, powerful or not. I think there has to be win-win, right? We don't mind people to come to invest in Africa, and in the end of the day, you create jobs. To be honest, I don't mind to see Chinese. I don't mind to see America to be in Africa, Turkey to be in Africa, India be in Africa. Everybody, as long as you play the rule of the game, right? You come, you invest, you hire local people, you create the jobs, you apply the law, the local laws. You do. Anybody can go invest anyway. You play the rules. You see?
And you know that he's not going to play the games. And we have a question. What does the Africa Global Chamber of Commerce say about the idea of creating a separate African currency that some African leaders are advocating?
Yes. So we, Africa Global Chamber of Commerce mission is to promote, is an advocacy organization. It's a trade organization that really advocates for private sector, to connect U.S. private sector, U.S. company to African private sector. These connections also advocate on behalf of governments, of African government, U.S. and globally to come together. That promote trade, investments, cultural exchanges, education between Africa and the global community or global markets, including the United States. It's not just between the U.S. and then Africa, it's also global markets as well. We look at the bigger picture, how now at the benefit of Africa and the others. It means the rule of the game is win-win. When you do trade, there is the seller, there is a buyer, there is exporter, there is importer. Those have to be paid like a tariffs, right? Those tariffs were not pro-tariffs. We want these tariffs to be eliminated, right? So to your questions, what you are saying about the one currency, that's where we are going Africa right now. The Africa should trade in their local currencies. Same way you can trade in US dollars. African Union has created what you call Africa Continental Free Trade Area. It's an economic bloc whereby African countries can trade one another. The Africa Continental Free Trade Area is an instrument, trade instrument, where countries in Africa can trade in the US in local currencies. Right now, across 32 countries in Africa are trading in local currencies, right? Using their currencies. You can sell your product from Kenya to South Africa, from Nigeria to Senegal, and they pay in the local currency, right? That's the first step. First time since almost 60 years, first time African countries can trade in their own currencies, right? But the first step is customs. They are taking down customs. You can export the product from Nigeria to Ghana. You don't have to pay duties in terms of tariffs. They're opening the borders for trade. The country can trade one another. Is the first step right now is happening. Next step now is to say, let's open all borders, all countries. You can travel from Kenya to Tanzania without visa, right? Right, without really having to pay any duties when you are trading. So it's happening right now. So now the next step is customs is a movement of people, right? Without having a visa, really elimination of visas. You can have one African passport. The next to have one currency. So our countries, instead of when exchange, probably the rand is a South African currency, and then the currency in Nigeria is naira. So when Nigeria trade for South Africa, you trade in naira against rand. So right now you don't need to have those competing currencies. Why can't we have only one currency
That's a good question. That's an excellent question. We'll be back with more with Dr. Olivier Kamanzi on the case right after this.
Hi, I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms.
And in case you didn't notice the resemblance, we're also three sisters.
We're going to be coming to you every week, sharing our successes and our mistakes as we navigate our lives as moms, wives, sisters, daughters, and of course, Black women in today's world.
We'll talk about it all: race, politics, religion, economics, culture, and we'll take a look at everything from whether or not to use corporal punishment to how do you teach your children about sex.
Look for our upcoming book, Growing Up Charles. It's a personal story about our lives growing up in Maple Park on Chicago's South Side. I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Three Black Moms.
Welcome to Master Force with Mushim Suit. Join us each week on Thursdays at 7 a.m. Central, live on Facebook and YouTube on the Female Solution page, as we dive into powerful topics designed to assist you in mastering your life force. Our conversations feature a diverse lineup of experts, all dedicated to your growth. Tune in weekly to discover new ways to elevate your spirit and raise your vibration. And remember, we are ascending.
We're back. I'm Chinta Strausberg, producer and host of On the Case. My very special guest has been Dr. Olivier Kamanzi, Chairman and CEO of the Africa Global Chamber of Commerce. Dr. Kamanzi, how many African voters are in Chicago, and how many in Illinois? And if you know, in the United States?
Yeah, so there are many. The last time we did the survey, especially the last census during COVID 2020, we believe we have close to 200,000 Africans in the state,
Chicago or
in the Chicagoland. 200,000, around that number. The people eligible to vote, they should be around maybe 100,000, something like that. So if I'm not mistaken, we haven't done we need to conduct a voter registration to have the clear numbers. So we are really planning to have our African diaspora, to carry out the voter registration campaign to figure out how many voters.
I think that's very important, especially with Trump and his vigilante suppressionist. They are out to suppress our vote, and I'm just wondering, what are you doing to educate the Africans in Chicago, Illinois, and across America?
Thank you for your question. First thing we did, we wanted to not just talk only Africans, to come together as the African diaspora. So the definition of diaspora is those who live outside of the continent of Africa. Also, when you're diaspora, I mean, this particular time I'm talking about Africans. The diaspora, you can have Israeli diaspora, can have Chinese diaspora, those who live outside of the motherland. So for us, diaspora definition includes African Americans, include Afro-Caribbean, include Afro-Latino, and African immigrants. All together we call African diaspora, right? So first thing we wanted to really let's come together as Black people, right? So in 2019, the African Union, that's represent around 55 countries, the ambassador of African Union came to Chicago. They tasked me as head of African Chamber of Commerce now to mobilize diaspora in the state of Illinois. So since 2019, I went to Springfield. I met the president of the Senate. I met Speaker of the Parliament. I said, I need your help to mobilize our people because we need a policy for the African diaspora. What we need, we pass a resolution not to recognize the African diaspora in the state of Illinois, right? The House of Representatives passed a resolution. We need to know how many African diaspora live in the state of Illinois. What I said, African American, Afro-Latino, Afro-Caribbean, Afro-Latino, and the African immigrants. So I've been behind this. Then later on, I went to governor of state of Illinois. I asked, I need your support. Remember, I went to legislative body, and then I went to executive. I said, we need your support to support the African diaspora. And then this year, the first time, the mayor of Chicago recognized African diaspora in the city of Chicago. So every year, we organize what we call Africa Day. Africa Day to come together. We celebrate Africa Day. Africa Day is known as May 25th, when all Africans came together to form African Union. Back in the day was African United Organization, right? At the time was African United African Organizations at the time. The country that came together. Now we changed the name to African Union. So that African Union, the foundation, the background of African Union coming together came from diaspora. The idea to mobilize all Africans to come together. People like Du Bois, people like who were connecting, people like Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana, right? All these people are the one who came together. As you know, Kwame Nkrumah was in the US. Du Bois also was African American. They work together now to bring African together. Now, what we are doing right now in the state of Illinois and also across the United States is to mobilize African, all Blacks to come together, unite, and they work together. That's really what we have been doing. And then celebrate our culture, celebrate our values, be able to take our kids, African American, who have never been in Africa. We take them back to Africa. For example, in 2021, a group of African American, a group of 221, we traveled together to Ghana, to Cape Coast, Ghana, to come now to know where they came from, because 75% of African American who were taken by force from Africa came from the Cape Coast, the coast area of Ghana called Cape Coast. They were taken from there to the United States. 75% of African American who are here came from that Cape Coast, Ghana. So we went back. What they said, they remember there was a year for return when in 2019. Now, many African American went to Ghana. We took a group of African American in 2021. The 221 were able now to go to live experience where ancestors, what they went through, right? So right now, that door of no return, not have become a door of return. So that that's kind of experiences. We have we did a couple of things like naming ceremony, kind lighting. We did so much to embrace where they came from. So those are things we have been doing to come together, to get to know one another, to really to have a unity among ourselves.
That's a good idea, but that May 25th is a little ways off. That's 3 days after Father Mike's birthday.
Yes.
So that's a couple of months away. But my concern is with the March 17th election.
Yes.
And early voting starts in February, which is, right around the corner. So what can you do to at least get the message out about checking your voter registration, making sure you are registered? And we don't tell people how to vote, but you vote your best interest. At least get that message out to your people.
Thank you so much for the question. What we are doing is, for example, to encourage the young people who have never held office to get engaged into politics, right? Right now we have the young Nigerian-born called Yasmin Bankore. She's running for the Congress for the Congressional 8th District. This young Nigerian-born, we are encouraging people to support her. He's young, he wants to go into politics. That's something we are mobilizing people to register, right? Registration. We have one event happening here up north side. There is a restaurant, the Nigerian restaurant called Vivi's. We are doing that. We are doing another event in Bronzeville, supporting some of the candidates. Encouraging people to come out. We are really encouraging to supporting like a candidate like Jesse Jackson Jr. We're gonna have organize something for him. We are organizing something for Commissioner Donna Mira. All those people, we are supporting our people, to encouraging people to come out. It doesn't matter, all our people, we are supporting our people. All these events, we are really hosting those events to encourage people to register. We'll be carrying out the registration drive to encouraging people to register. So we're doing this. We're going to do it on February 13.
Okay.
At Yassa African Restaurant is in Bronzeville on the King Drive and 35th in the King Drive.
So are you going to send a press release out so people will know?
We'll send the press release out. I will send you the next Friday at Yassa African Restaurant, 35th in the King Drive. We're going to do that. On the 18th, the following Friday, on the 18th, we're going to do up north side in a Rogers Park at the restaurant called Vivi's Nigerian restaurant. It's on Broadway and Devon. So you cannot miss this. So it's also why we're going to really start the campaign of registration of vote drive to calling everybody who can come out. We people in a diaspora, called diaspora, African diaspora, to come out. We only one way we can overcome is when we come together.
That's absolutely right. And I'm going to send you a link to Greg Palace's Vigilante Inc., America's New Vote Suppression Hitman video. And you can call a meeting, get your popcorn, and it is all factual of how the election was almost and before stolen, and what they're planning on doing for the March 17th primary, and really get down for the November general election. You have to let your people know about that.
Absolutely, I agree with you. We need our people engage our people to get involved. If you are not happy with a policy, the only one way is to get involved.
So if I send you the link, it's a free video because Jamie Foxx paid for it. He paid for, gave Mr. Palace the money so that we can give the film out free. It's very, very important.
That's nice.
We are out of time. Dr. Kamanzi, thank you so much for being on the case. I've enjoyed your conversations and your history too.
Thank you, my dear sister Chinta. Thank you so much. We appreciate you and we love you. Thank you.
God bless you.
But God bless you too.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, Dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, ngiyabonga. Senegal, jareh. Kenya, asante. Israel, toda. Pakistan, shukriya. Afghanistan, tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.